Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about building competitive IQ or just any type of in-game intelligence against another person. And this works in a lot of other games and not just Modern Warfare right here. But I kind of want to talk about a few key important things about this prediction against another opponent if you're versing somebody one-on-one and things like that. Kind of just how to beat the person in just a very general way to try to kill the other person, because I can say, oh, you know, there's a 1v1 right here. I can demonstrate each different way I can kill the person in a 1v1, but each situation is different. Even each game, it's not even Call of Duty, it could be chess, it could be basketball, some other type of game. There's just a few things that you do got to keep in mind when you're versing somebody on a one-on-one level. So the first thing that I would definitely want you guys to try to look for, keep in mind, is advantages that you have in the game. So there's definitely different things that you can do to get a competitive advantage on somebody in certain games. In this game, of course, the competitive advantage would be the high ground. It could be if I have an SMG and I'm up close. It could be maybe if I have a stun, so I throw it and then I have the advantage when I catch the person. And we can put that in other different games into perspective, like if I'm playing basketball, right? If I have more points than the other team, I have the advantage. Therefore, I got to keep that in mind and hold the other team to not score as many points. Or if I play chess or checkers, for example, if I have more pieces or if I have more spots opened up for me to make more moves onto bigger targets, then that would allow me to be able to have an advantage over somebody else. So you always got to think of how you can have the advantage before the other person. Now, I do say that this is like one of the general concepts of having the competitive advantage, not the whole thing, because there's certain times where even if you have the advantage, you can still lose the gunfight. And this is where a lot of highly skilled players come into play in any other game, because they try to trick the person who has the advantage into going into a spot that they're not comfortable with, and that makes you lose that advantage, and the advantage gets taken to the other opponent. So like I said, right, you always want to look for that advantage. You always want to be knowledgeable and make sure you know the positions that you get in. And the more you play the game, whatever game it is, you're going to be able to tell how many times you're either losing or getting killed based on the position you're in. So if I keep getting killed while I'm under somebody, that means that the high ground is always going to win because I keep losing to the high ground. And then when I get into the high ground and start killing people, even if I lose fights, I still win a lot of my gunfights. So just being able to recognize and chase those advantages in the game is really going to help you get more kills. But on top of that, there's other things or types of baits that you really got to look for in any type of game. Like I said, it could be basketball, it could be Call of Duty or chess or something. There's so many different types of baits that allow you to lead, like if you had the advantage and then they fool you into taking it away and then they have the advantage. So keep it in this mind, when you have the advantage, you always got to be careful and not put yourself into a bad position. So let's just say I hurt somebody right here, right? I break his armor and then he goes into this place over here, like all the way down there. Then in my mind, I'm probably gonna be like, oh, since he's really low, let me go out and chase him. And then while I do that, I can actually put myself into certain disadvantages, which maybe being in the air or slide canceling where I can't shoot, or as I'm coming up, he baits over and then shoots me in the back. There's the whole baiting aspect in any type of game that really counters the advantage, but it's more of always a risk to take. So as you're playing in other different games, you got to first look for that advantage and also see other people's advantages and then be able to take that away from them. Another thing I do want to say with building this competitive IQ and awareness is just by playing the game a lot, but it's also by playing against highly skilled players. So I know a lot of you really hate skill-based matchmaking. I hate skill-based matchmaking. I think it's very stupid unless you have a ranked game mode, but being able to verse highly skilled players over and over and over is going to make you learn from your mistakes, and you're going to be seeing in game that whole advantage concept, or baiting somebody into losing the advantage of a concept. It's kind of like, you know, if you guys you and your opponent are on two levels, one person gets the advantage, okay, now you're trying to make him lose the advantage so you get the advantage, and every single time you have that advantage over the opponent, that's where you attack them and you push full force and you never try to push the person when you're at a disadvantage, no matter what type of game that you play. But yes, as you keep playing over and over against highly skilled players, they're already going to do that. Whether they do it subconsciously or not, they're going to be able to keep that mental thing in mind and be able to beat you over and over and over. But the thing that sucks about this game is usually they just keep making you verse people over and over that are really good at the game, and then you don't get to verse people that are actually average to the point where you can drop a lot of high kill games. And even me myself, you know, past few days have been very horrible. So if I go to COD Tracker GG, boom, type in the 5th seal, you can see that I'm great at the game, right? I dropped 30s, I dropped a few 40s, and all this stuff. Oh, actually I had a .77. That is crazy. But besides that, I had 1.2, 1.18, 1.21, 1.35, 1.05, 1.50. Like, all these are hard lobbies. And it sucks because you see I'm not dropping like no 20 kills. I dropped 122, and that's like the only thing that I do well in. Everything else is super hard. So it sucks that skill-based matchmaking is really that hard. Even in this lobby where I did get a .77, I was solo quadding intentionally, and it did drop me down to get 19 kills. But at the same time, even if I get a .77 KD lobby, I'm versing 4 people versus 1 guy, so it is really hard that way. But yeah, like I said, just keep playing against harder people. Keep that in mind of when you have the advantage, when you have the disadvantage. Kind of have a mental note of that, and as you review your gameplay, you can kind of see, okay, I was doing this wrong, okay, I had the advantage here and I lost it. And you can keep figuring out the most common or the most common things that give you the advantage, so you can keep killing your opponent and keep taking advantage of those instances. I also want to mention that I'm live almost every single day on Twitch, so if you guys want to come and see me play in real time, then you can catch me on Twitch, the_5_seal, and I will be streaming a lot on there. Also, in my pinned comment section, I always have my link tree and then my coaching services that I have right here, so you can go into the link tree and see all the other social medias that I have.